Hi everyone, this is Angus here, and today I'm going to be giving you a review of the Garmin Venu 4. So the reason that I'm reviewing this is because a couple of weeks ago I went paddleboarding and fell off my paddleboard. While I was trying to get back on, I lost my smartwatch, which is the Huawei Watch GT3 Classic. Now, I really loved that watch. I loved the design, but I started noticing the accuracy wasn't great when I was running. However, I did really love the design. So I do a lot of sport, I go to the gym, I do running, I do cycling. So I've been really interested in trying Garmin, and I've been aware of them for years. I know lots of people that have Garmins. So I am borrowing my brother's Garmin Venu 4 to fully test it out. In this review, I'm going to be testing the software, the features, the battery life, the design, what it's like for different sports, and also explore whether it's good value, as it currently sits at £469.99 in the UK. So let's talk about software. So I've reset the software on this watch and downloaded the app. It took me about 5 to 10 minutes to set up everything, which is pretty good. I liked how easy and quick the app was to pair with my phone. The app is really well designed, it's easy to navigate and to use. I did get a bit overwhelmed by how many settings and options you did have to adjust in the app, but after a while I found you got a little bit used to it. In the software there's also features like a voice assistant. I found it worked fine, but something I probably wouldn't use in the future as my phone has Siri. So now let's talk about features. So this is an expensive watch, so as you would expect, it would have all the top features. You get GPS, you get water resistance, you get advanced health and fitness features, NFC for using it to pay for contactless. You also have some useful features which you wouldn't expect, which would be helpful, like an LED light. So I actually use this all the time, even though my phone has a flashlight. So for example, if I'm ever coming back home and it's dark, normally I have my phone on me, but my watch is literally on my wrist and I can turn the light on without seeing in the dark. I've used that torch quite a lot, and it's also really bright, so that is really useful. It also might be a useful backup if you ever want to do trail running and it gets dark. So now let's talk about battery life. So I've been really impressed by the battery life on this watch. Garmin claims you can get 12 days of battery life, and that seems to be true. I didn't put any battery settings on, I just reset the watch and let it do its thing. It had sleep tracking activated and all the default features. So I probably could have turned off some features, but I didn't. So I started using it on the 20th of June. I'm recording this on the 28th, so a week later. I charged it to 100% and I was a bit disappointed by how long it took. I could charge it via USB-C, but the other end seems to be this very specific charger. Now, it took 40 minutes to charge the watch to 25%, which I thought was really slow. But I guess if you're going to charge it overnight, it's not the end of the world. But my Huawei watch had wireless charging and this Garmin doesn't. Now, at this price point, I would expect it to. I have looked into this a bit further, and some people have said it doesn't need the wireless charging because it would make the watch thicker, but I would say if Garmin are charging that much money for this watch, I'd expect it to have all the latest features. And I personally really like wireless charging because I have a docking station on my desk and I like convenience. But being able to charge with USB-C again isn't a massive inconvenience. It's just something that I wouldn't expect a 2021 watch to have, where this is a much newer watch. So by day 3, it was on 76%, by day 4, it was on 60%, and I stopped using it today, which was on day 7, and that was on 27%. So I still had more than a quarter of the battery left, so really impressed by the battery life. And I used the watch quite a lot. I used it for runs, I used it for cycle rides. Yeah, I was really happy with the battery life and I can't fault it. They've done a really good job with this. So now let's talk about the design. So you've got two options with this watch. You've got a 41mm or a 45mm. The watch I'm reviewing is a 45mm watch with a 1.4 inch AMOLED display. This watch has been upgraded to a screen with up to 2000 nits of max brightness. I noticed this straight away and I think it's fantastic. It's probably one of the best features in the watch compared to my previous one. It's got a metal design, so it's quite robust, but you also get a plastic shell that can go over the top. Now, I think it's clever that they're giving you an option to stop it from getting scratched, but having plastic just feels a bit cheap. This is meant to be a premium watch. Now, the Apple Watch and other watches you can get cases, but I just found the plastic was just a bit odd. I don't know why they couldn't have gone for like a metal case. Obviously there are reasons for it, that it probably feels nicer and it doesn't feel sharp. But I don't know, the plastic was just a bit of a weird feel, but of course you don't have to use it. That being said, when I was wearing this at work with a suit, I found that I started liking the design more, and I can definitely see that this is both a sporty watch and a watch that you can use at work, and it looks smart. So I do really like the design. It is a premium watch, just the plastic cover that goes on top I wasn't the biggest fan of, but I think it's useful that it can protect it. So now let's talk about what it's like to use for different sports. So I'm just about to cycle to the gym, so we'll test that. I have already seen that there's a e-bike mode on the watch, which is nice, and then I'm going to do a gym workout, so I'll have a look at the settings there. So I'm about 2-3 sets in, probably about quarter of the way through my exercise, and I've put it on free mode again, but whenever I start it keeps asking me to put my sets in, which is kind of annoying. I kind of wish there was a mode where it would just track what I'm doing. So yeah, I think it gives the information that I need to know. So yeah, I think for working out it's pretty good. The watch is comfortable. I used it earlier for a overhead press and didn't have any issues with flexibility or movement. I think if you're really into tracking your gym workouts, then this watch is going to be really good for that. You can literally monitor or track any workout in the gym, and I think that's quite cool. I personally wouldn't use that because I just keep track of what I'm doing on my phone. I do it in my notes of what the weights I'm doing, but for some people they might want to do it on the watch, and I think that's useful for that. So I use this for a 10-minute bike ride on an e-bike, and it didn't detect the distance. I did some research into it, and there was two things. The first thing is I needed to wait for the GPS signal to come in. So whenever you use this watch, if you ever start a cycle ride or a run, just give it a second and it would bleep. If you are having any other issues with the watch detecting distance, just reset the phone and turn the watch on and off, and I found that worked. So once I found the watch was working fine with no issues, it was great. It was giving me good, accurate data. I used it for running and I have no complaints. It was good, and the same for cycling. So yeah, I think if you're thinking of using this for sports, it's going to be great. You've got hundreds of different sports that you can track. So who is this smartwatch for? So I would say this smartwatch is for sport enthusiasts who want a really high quality smartwatch. It's for people who are really interested in very specific tech and features that come in the watch. If your budget is say £200 and you're wondering whether you should extend it to £400, I would say don't. I think a £200 smartwatch will be absolutely fine. If you go for a cheaper watch like the Garmin Forerunner 70, I think you'll be really happy with it. Now, if you've already got a Garmin smartwatch and you're thinking of upgrading to this, I would consider it. I'd probably recommend going into a local shop like Curry's, go have a look at the watch, go see if you like the design, maybe ask some questions to the staff, and I think if you're thinking of upgrading it, it could be a good option, but do go have a look at it first. I think if you've never had a smartwatch before, I would probably say go for a cheaper smartwatch, but if you do have the money for this, I think it is a good watch, and I don't think you'll be disappointed at all. So, in conclusion, I'm going to give this watch a 4 out of 5. I feel you need to spend a lot of time with this watch to get the most out of it. I'm someone who's really into my tech, so I tried to explore all the features, and I thought there's a lot of features I probably would have never have used. I think it's a really high quality watch for fitness, for sport, for exercise, but for someone like me who does lots of sports, I didn't appreciate as many of the features as I would have thought. My favourite thing of this watch definitely had to be the quality of the screen. I think if you run and cycle and do all these different sports and you've got the money, yes, go ahead and buy it. There probably are different smartwatches out there which offer the same features and the same tech, but this is a solid watch, and if you like Garmin and you've had a Garmin before, again, I would say upgrade to this. However, if you don't have the budget, I don't think it's worth extending your budget for, but I could be wrong. That's why I say go into a shop, go try it, and go see how you feel about the watch. So there is my review of this smartwatch. I hope you found it helpful, and thank you very much for watching.